Hello everyone, and welcome to Make It Happen Wednesdays with the Organized Author. I'm Lucinda, and I'm so glad to be back with you guys this week. I apologize, last week was just insane. Alright, so what I decided to do this week was to take you guys on a journey of my planning life, kind of how I started before, how I was planning before I started bullet journaling, and then just the development of that and how things look now. Alright, so what I did, I'll show you this, is I took a big Nike shoe box, like my son wears size 13, and I just repurposed it. I covered it with white paper and duct tape around it, and it fits inside of my bookshelf very, very nicely. It stands up vertically, of course, and I'm just going to continue to use that. I think I'll usually have 2 of these per year, and so I should have plenty of room to continue that for the rest of my life, and as long as I'm still journaling. And so this is the one we're going to start with first. This is how I was planning right before I started bullet journaling, or before I started using, actually before I started using a traveler's notebook at all. And so this was from March to July 2015. And before that, I was keeping things just in a regular like dollar store planner, or I was using something electronic like Google for Google Calendar. And I would still, because I wouldn't always hear the notification, or I'd be busy, I might be late for an appointment or even miss one. And so I started going back to putting pen to paper. And this is not the way it came originally. I'll show you. I just, for storing purposes, I took a Dollar Tree planner, yearly calendar planner, and I just covered it. I cut it to size and covered it. This is one of the sizes that I make Lucindadori Traveler's Notebooks, which I'll tell you about in a moment. And I just covered it with duct tape and used white duct tape to put the label on it. And see, this is a Traveler's Notebook that I made to house it. So when I was planning before, I was printing pages, free pages, printables online. A lot of them came from Squirrel, which is a really great resource, and I'll put her link below. And I wasn't sure what I wanted to do at first. I had like a week on a page, or I had like what to do today. And then I started doing some weekly pages. So I was doing like a full month calendar, which you'll see in a moment. But I printed the calendar pages all for the year front and back, so I couldn't really, like, I'd have maybe May on one page and June on the back of it, so I didn't have the days and the weeks right following the month. So I didn't have like May and all of the weeks and the days for May, and then June, because I printed everything front and back. And it was still productive in terms of what I needed to do on any given day, but it wasn't productive for flipping back and forth, or for referencing what I did in a previous week or a previous day or previous month. So, but it was really pretty. I also took a template for a week on 2 pages that would fit in a traveler's notebook, and I actually, no, I wasn't using traveler's notebook yet, but I put in a week on 2 pages, and then I completely modified it to accommodate things. Now right here, I don't think I have modified it yet. I just had the day of the week the way that it came, but I'll show you in a moment how I had modified that. And so I made different stickers. So I started off making stickers for the things that I needed to do, and I put them on each of those days. And like, see, I'd made some stickers for the days of the week there, because the Saturday and Sunday weren't on here, or didn't have enough room, I guess. I'm not sure what I was doing there, but I was just kind of trying to find my way. And I actually have a video that shows the binder that this was in and how I was working everything, and I'll put that link below for you guys as well. So then I went from that to making for doing traveler's notebooks, I believe, at this point. And so of course I made this as well, and I did this in a video. I'd started off making them all out of duct tape, as you can see, and And so this one's dated July 13th to December 31st of 2015. And this, I love this charm. It came from Michael's, and I think they're usually, oh, they're not very much. I think I paid $2.50 for that. Okay, so there's the Traveler's Notebook. And so now that's where you see when I started really doing Traveler's Notebooks, and I had my weeks on 2 pages and I had them in order, and I started decorating in this way, and I made all these stickers, and it was pretty productive. I had Monday through Friday was my meal plans there, and you'll see how this continued to develop. To-do lists, and I did some notes, grocery lists, got some blank pages. Now this was a mess, let me tell you. This wasn't all together in right order for me to be able to pick up and say, oh, what did I do in the month of July, or what did I do in the month of December, because I had multiple books, but they didn't really flow. Like now what I do is I have, and you'll see there in a moment, I have for each book that I'm using, it's set for a time period, except for the books that are long-term books. And so in this one, I had different sections where I was just writing ongoing. So if I wanted to look for something, I could look at the index, which you'll see here in just a moment, but I might have to look at a bunch of different areas in one insert that wasn't kind of focused on a particular theme. And so it took some time for me to take all that stuff and put it together so that I could flip through it and show you guys. I had to do a lot of stapling and copying and all of that. So, and that's why you see some blank pages in there. So this is what I mean by the index. So before, at this point, I had an insert that was just for my weeklies. So I had all of these pages together, and I had that going in from month to month to month. Okay, oh, this was some homeschool stuff. I forgot all about that. I had that in here for my daughter too. And she's graduating in December now, early. Okay, so I had, and then all my real bullet journaling was in this section, which was a section, an insert that had a whole bunch of stuff with a bunch of different focuses that went ongoing for month after month after month. And so you'll see all these different things, and I thought I was going to continue to use more space. I kind of had it in my mind that I wanted to use as much of the paper as I could before I had to do another insert. At that time, that was my mindset. And I even had, at that point, I had my legend, or my, I can't even think of what you call these, but I don't really use these, but I started off with those. But I did have the index, and I did a little bit of watercoloring. And then, so see, I had all these, I had a master task list, which I still have a master task list, but it's in a specific insert that is for my long-term tasks that I want to be able to check off and make sure I'm taking care of things that last or are required throughout every year, all throughout the year. And I had a monthly log, which I don't do monthly logs anymore. I have a separate insert and a separate Traveler's Notebook, which is in previous videos. I'll link that below, and one part of this page has to do with something, and another part has to do with something else, and another part has to do with something else. And so I'd have these pages back here. I'd have these numbers back here that, where's my index? See, it's a mess. Wherever that index is that I can't find right now. Oh, here it is. Then I would have maybe 4 things would have the same page number. And then maybe I go on another page, and some of that stuff would be on another page with the same page number. I just kind of didn't really know what I was doing at this point, but I did get a lot done. And there was my plant care, and so I'd just find a blank space, and I'd write the notes on it, and then I'd put the page number over there. And it was okay for a time, but then it just got to be a little too erratic. But this was all where I did my bullet journaling and had my index and kept up with my car and all that kind of stuff. Now my car is in a separate insert that's for ongoing things that need to be in my Traveler's Notebook all the time for me to reference and not have to worry about taking out my things like I do at Today's Positive Short post on social media to encourage people, my magazine, my YouTube channel, all these things. Well, I was creating a separate calendar, full out calendar for each one of those homeschool stuff, and just a lot of stuff that's all indexed in there. And then so that calendar, so I was trying to kind of put this in some sort of date order. So if you go in that index, I crossed off the anything that started in 2016. This was all 2015 stuff. I'm sorry, yes, this is all 2015 stuff. So I started, this was July, and everything that went up through started before that, or started during that time. I apologize. And then I continued these weeklies just so I could show you guys, and this will go all the way to December. And you can see I started really getting into coloring. This was a separate insert I have for my kids for college and for volleyball, and I won't share that. Okay, and now let's go. So that one ended in December 31st of 2015. And then this one was all travel and miscellaneous stuff from for the year 2015. And so, of course, I made this one. This one I really experimented some more. I made some little pockets with duct tape, and I just had these stored after I made them. And this was where I kept track of my products, makeup products that I use. That's changed just a little bit. And I had made some little ongoing, like I had some index cards about goals for my individual family members, things that I wanted to do to benefit them. And then just like, what is this? A travel checklist. And I made this. I showed this, I think, in a previous video a long time ago. I loved it. Watercolors for grocery lists, but it's not my current grocery list. So it's just here for posterity now. I think it's pretty, but it's not something that I actually use. There we go. Okay, and this was for travel, and so I went a lot of different places in 2015, a bunch. And so this was my travel's notebook, and this is pretty much travel's notebook style, except for I created some boxes for lists, but they were weeks on 2 pages that I had not modified yet. Fun in Puerto Rico and Colorado and Philadelphia. It was great. It was a great year of travel, and I was just using notebook paper in here too. So I went to take my son to school in Philadelphia. And so that's all what's in that one. Now we go to 2016, and I'm pretty much full on somewhere at this point where everything, sometime in here where everything becomes 100% bullet journaling, period. Okay, so this is January through February, and this is another section where I was putting together stuff. Those are my goals for this year. As they began, some things have changed. And so this is where I had all those calendars still. All right, so I still have a week on 2 pages, but I had, instead of stickers, I had made on my computer. This original template was just the days of the week and lines. And so instead of having stickers, I actually formatted this on the computer to accommodate everything that I wanted to do, and there was that little time clock. And so I did this for, I guess, a little while longer. We'll see when I stopped. Okay, here we go. So this is when I started going all the way. It was actually toward the end of March, all the way bullet journaling for everything. And so I had to cover up a few things. I had an index, and here I created this giant monthly thing in here, and I just wanted to use the paper. I didn't want to waste it for the inside, but I was still making a calendar or printing out a big calendar at that point, at the beginning of March. And I think I did that through maybe May, but I created a social media tracker, physical therapy and vitamin tracker, and this stuff is all merged now, and a habit tracker, Etsy tracker, today's positive short tracker. And then when we get to the week that started March 21st, and that's when I started laying out my own weekly spreads and tracking things that way. for today. I hope you enjoyed this journey of seeing how I used to plan, how I got into a traveler's notebook and then into bullet journaling, and how my system is working for me now. As I said earlier, my business bullet journal that really goes over all my goals and timeline and tracking and all of that is in a separate Traveler's Notebook bullet journal, which I have linked below, videos that involve that. And if I can help you guys with any future things, please let me know in the comments what you'd like to look for in videos to help you with your planning and organizing, whether it's bullet journaling or otherwise. And until next time, happy writing.